Well, first of all, what is socialism? All these the millennials who say, "Yeah, socialism is the good thing for my future." Uh, I like to assume they don't really know what it is, you know, and that if they do learn, they'll change their minds. But what it is, the way I define it is, first of all, it includes the traditional definition of government ownership of the means of production. So any nationalized industries, government-run industries. And I do have a chapter called Islands of Socialism. It's about government-run enterprises. They're not nationalized, but it's the state government or the local government, hospitals, schools, all the things that governments run. But then in the 1976 edition of The Road to Serfdom, Hayek wrote that the meaning of socialism had evolved by that time to include government income redistribution programs through the welfare state and the progressive income tax. And he said that the goal was always ostensibly equality, the pursuit of material equality, egalitarianism was always the goal, but the means evolved from nationalization of industry to the welfare state and the progressive income tax. And the progressive income tax, of course, is plank number 2 in the Communist Manifesto. Plank number 1 is abolition of private property. And then the second most important goal of Marx and Engels was a progressive income tax in capitalist economies, because they thought it would help to destroy capitalist economy, undermine capitalist economies. So part number 1 is nationalized industries. Part number 2 is the welfare state and the progressive income tax. And then I also include what Mises said in his book, Socialism. In one of the latter chapters, he said that socialists have always had a dual strategy. The first part of the strategy was to nationalize as much as possible, to have the government run as much as possible. The second part of the strategy is what Mises calls destructionism, to destroy the private property, free enterprise system with heavy taxes, heavy regulations, inflation, whatever works. Taking over the educational system and brainwashing the kids with the virtues of socialism and the evils of markets, whatever works, destructionism. And so with that definition, it's not the old early 20th century definition of government ownership of the means of production. It's much broader. So I have 16 chapters in the book, 16 short. It covers a lot of ground. If you look up the website of Democratic Socialists of America, for example, they highlight a super minimum wage as one of their top objectives. And so that's not government ownership of the means of production, but it's a government mandated $15 an hour minimum wage.